And good afternoon, everyone. You tired of hearing about the war kicking off? Let's talk about what they ate during the Great Depression. Talk about silver and hidden history. They don't want you to see the timelines because you're going to know it's a cycle and the same people are pulling the same playbook. Let's get into it. And I found this snippet here of common foods during the Great Depression. Now remember, it was much more agrarian. A lot of people had their own gardens, but a lot of people still went hungry during this time. So what did they eat? I see a plate of, it looks like raspberries there, but let's get into it. Jerusalem artichoke, easy to grow. Now please remember, when you're preparing this, you must boil it for longer than you think, or else it's going to give you, shall we say, gas. But once you cook it, it's very much like a potato. I've had it a few times, prepared correctly, and it is quite delicious. It's a nice substitute if you can't grow potatoes. Lamb's quarter as well, that grows right now in the spring. It is everywhere. It's free veg for you if you know where to look. Right along with clover. Not a lot of people know that you can eat clover. It's got a lemon flavor after you stir fry it up there. Free food everywhere during the springtime. Also dandelions, number 3 on the list. The leaves are a little bitter, but the flower, the yellow flower up there, and if you want to do some tonics for the liver, that's what the root's all about. But again, we're taught to kill this plant in our yards. It's bad. How about acorns? They take a little more preparing. We tried to do some acorn bread. Didn't work out for us. It was like a bitter patty. We did something wrong. So, find your recipe for this one and soak them longer than we did, and you should be fine. Mushrooms. There's a huge amount of mushrooms. With the amount of rain we've had in East Tennessee, there's been like never-ending mushrooms. The boletes, the ones we always find. But as we go through the seasons, different mushrooms shall emerge, and then you should start to know the cycles of these wild forageables as well, because you can eat leaves off of mulberry and moringa. And where are you into your gardening right now? There's a lot of things popping up that you can pull leaves off of. There's a tremendous amount of food right now. How about some ferns? Different types of ferns depending on where you are. Obviously, if you're in the Pacific Northwest versus down here in, like I say, East Tennessee or Georgia, you're going to get a different type of fern, but young, supple, and again, free food if you know what you're looking for. Huckleberries / blueberries / hackberries. Abundant, and we have a bunch of wild ones on our property. I just fertilize them out in where they decided to grow, and they give off pretty good yield. And there's always, even after the birds have had their fill, more for us. We usually get a cup or 2 off each plant, but when you got hundreds of them, it adds up. Now, blackberries and raspberries, wild everywhere. You'll have to make a schedule going through in the morning or in the afternoon or evening, whenever you pick, but you got to go through every day. You're not just going to wait until the very last day and be like, we're going to pick today. You need to continuously run through your harvesting. And that's what a lot of people did in the Great Depression. They spent a lot of their day looking for food and foods to trade. So let's talk about sunflowers. Going to be coming in the summer, obviously. This is one easy way, and you can watch how they do it in an industrial fashion real fast here. A little more care if you want to put some love into the harvesting. Different types of sunflowers, different sizes, but once you take that outer coating off where the flowers were, as you can see here, once you scrape that off, the seeds are below it. And this is another very nutritious, and animals can eat it too, so you can use it for a dual purpose. And if you just throw those out, they should grow. It turns out the key to losing weight and keeping it off is not carbs or fat or even probiotic-rich foods. Nope. The end game of having a healthy weight, as well as more energy and a long, healthy life, comes down to a specific switch which you can flip in your body to flush out unnecessary calories. Dr. Stephen Gundry is calling this caloric bypass. And by activating this specific process in your body, he's seen thousands, yes, thousands of people dramatically improve their health, even at age 50 and beyond. This includes losing weight, getting tons more energy, and returning to the good health that they had in their youth once they simply addressed this one key to better health. Dr. Stephen Gundry has lost 70 pounds himself using this research and has kept the weight off for over 20 years and counting. His digestive issues are gone. His health is fantastic and he feels younger and healthier today than he did in his 40s. His video has been watched by over 20 million people to date, and you can watch and learn more about it at thehealthyfat.com/adapt. And he'll teach you exactly how he's kept his weight off for free at thehealthyfat.com/adapt. Click on that link in the description box below. And now on with the video. And this is such a true statement for me here. I used to think I was born in the wrong time. Now I understand I'm here to keep the old ways alive. So as we go through these changes here, don't think that it's all darkness, that there's no way to get through this. Those people in the Great Depression were able to move through that time period, and it was a much healthier diet, obviously, if you're going to be wild foraging. Now, what do you have in a way of tradable or skills that then you could trade to get on somebody's farm? Now, the stories of the Hoovervilles moving and men and just like lines moving through different towns asking for work. You know, what kind of skills would you have if you were in that line of 50 or 100 people that I have this skill, hey, I have this one, that puts you in front of the line? I don't have the answer for everybody. It's what you know currently or what you can start to study in the next few months to get ready. But the news media will have you believe there's no way to move through this. Do not believe that. We've always survived. We wouldn't have 8 billion people on the planet, and we've gone through far worse than this. You know, the coolings in 8,000, you know, brought us down to like 10 million people on the planet, and we bounced right back. We are here again. So it doesn't matter how bad it appears to be. It's going to be your choice in the mind how you accept it. Many solutions for us to find. And let's look at another crystal ball possibility. U.S. population mega regions. Now, if you're in the red, green, yellow, blue, etc., how many people can get to you? Like, we're down here in East Tennessee, but, you know, so vast and so many roads. I mean, how people might turn up, but it's not going to be thousands. It might be a dozen or under that just stumble across your place. But as you can see out in the Midwest and up toward Idaho, Montana, once you're out there, nobody's finding you. But you can't really grow food that efficiently for many, many, many months, more than if you were living down somewhere in Arkansas or South Carolina, Panhandle of Florida. You're going to be growing a lot more, a lot longer. So keep that in mind. And also, I want to talk about sound money here. Silver is going to be a tradable, you know, getting these types of quarters to make change. I had a friend of mine, Kevin, we were talking about how do we make change? If you have a 1 ounce round of silver, how are you going to break me some change off if I only need to pay you, you know, $10, but silver's 30? I need change, but I want silver. I don't want fiat. So how are you going to kick me back, you know, $20 worth of silver change out of that 1 ounce round I give you? Well, this was an interesting fact here. In 1964, the minimum wage was 90% silver quarters, and the melt value is $23 approximately. So then if we have a minimum wage of $23, wouldn't that not be the same? That's just, you can see the devaluation of the paper. And I found an interesting one here about our quarters. I want you to look at George Washington. Notice the smile on the left pointing toward "In God We Trust," and then on the right is the newest issuance here, "Turned Away from God." But notice the mouth, how down it is. Those are those really like psychopath, sociopath, angry people. When they smile, the mouth still curls down. And I also noticed in the hairdo as well. I thought that is very interesting. What is going on with the new hairdo? Eyes are different, nose is different. You'll notice there's very different on the sculpture. It doesn't even look like George Washington any longer. It looks like a replica. So what I did is I started to invert these. It's just the hair that you saw. The wig is different on the new issuance of the coin. What do you see? It's just I took that, mirrored it, and then I flipped it. So it's the same square just 4 times mirrored so I could get a full picture out of it. Let's bring that in for you. That's what's on the new quarter. Please leave your comments below, because I see something in there that I don't want to be seeing. And when I was mirroring it originally, this is what it came out as. Is each one of those squares is just itself flipped over, and then once that bottom section was done, mirror it again for the top and bottom. So once you spin it, then you'll start to see what I see, but perhaps vertical you'll see something else. I'm not sure, leaving it out there for a thought experiment. Let's talk about lost history for a second. So the top stump, 2,500 years old, that encapsulated and grew over and around a 2,000-year-old stump. So right here we're looking at 4,500 years of time, and the wood and the trees tell us. Are there missing history here somewhere? I am not sure, but what does not make sense, in 1918, coal miners were astonished to uncover a petrified tree stump entombed within a coal seam. That's not supposed to happen. Something on our timelines of geology could be off as well in terms of how quickly plate tectonics or fossilization occurs, petrification. But absolutely, the quote-unquote experts are bending our minds as to when things occurred. It's a cycle. They want to keep you linear. They want to flatten you out. Now, this is a lithograph from Constantinople, 1453. Now, a couple strange oddities here. You're telling me they broke down those walls that are how many? That's 6 to more feet thick. So if you think that person's standing on the top of the wall, if you laid them down flat, they would easily, be the width of that wall. So they went, look how much of the wall is already torn down. What kind of weaponry could actually break through that wall? See, things that were told in history here about the technologies we had just don't match up. If you're looking at this siege, they're not taking that away as building materials. They're still in the process of pillaging, so they're not going to be breaking down the stone walls to take home to build a new house somewhere yonder. Again, this painting is very quintessential. Something's wrong with history, and we're not being told the full truth. Now, the Bitcoin adoption curve is going to be the realization that we're in a cycle curve, that history's repeating curve, and everything's not on the table, that we're being absolutely taken down the wrong road of evolution of technology, evolution of money, and those that are there need to stay in power because, well, they need to stay in power. We need to redo those 3 factors right there. And also, how long is it going to take for people to realize we live here? Look at the big yellow thing on the left. Do you think there'd be an effect? Just asking for a friend. Are they trying to play God? And speaking of that, anything that's not a star pattern in this image is a galaxy. It makes you ponder, with our planet, just one star moving around our solar system, and how many galaxies and hundreds of billions and trillions of stars are there? How can this darkness be so entrenched right now? And we need to break free of it, and we need to free our planet so we once again can bathe in infinite consciousness and light and live our lives so we can make this planet a better place for our children. I do thank you for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. Please leave comments below. Share with friends and family. Help the algorithm. See you next time. Bye for now.